Hey there everyone, after a few of my friends saw my most recent Cooking with Michael video, they said, Michael, we've got to see more of it, we absolutely love it. So today, I'm going to be making the Hollywood Studios famous carrot cake cookie. Today I'm going to make two different types of carrot cake cookie. The first one's going to be from a box, the Duncan Hines carrot cake mix, along with the filling or the frosting, the cream cheese frosting I'm going to put in the middle. The second recipe is going to be completely from scratch. I'm going to be making the filling and the carrot cake completely from scratch. We're going to go through it together. Let's hop right in. Okay, first we're going to make the box recipe, so we'll push that all aside for a little bit later and start with the box. Okay, the box carrot cake I'm using is Duncan Hines Decadent Classic Carrot Cake Mix. Let's open it up. You know, I really wonder which one's going to be better, this from scratch or from the box. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, not much in there. Goes the dry ingredients. And okay, those are our dry ingredients, and now we have cream cheese frosting. Gonna need this box. It's got the directions on it. Okay, first things first, we're gonna preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Done. Now we're going to grease the sides and bottom of each pan with shortening or oil spray. Today I'm going to be using butter. Okay, so let's get that pan we're going to use for the carrot cake cookie. I'm going to make them in these cupcake tins and fill them up and then cut them in half and stick the two halves together, put the filling inside. Going to be perfect. Now this is salted butter. I don't know, I always use salted butter. To me, unsalted butter just tastes weird, so I use salted butter. Okay, the pans are all buttered, at least my way. Now let's head on over to the next step. Okay, the next step in the instructions, empty the contents of the carrot and raisin pouch into a small bowl, then add 1 1/4 cups of hot tap water and set aside for 5 minutes. Okay, now let's add the 1 1/4 cups of hot water to the carrot and raisin mix. Okay, now we take our next bowl and we add the cake mix, oil, and eggs to it. All right, here we go. Here is the carrot cake mix. Now we have to add 3 eggs and 1/4 cup of oil. Okay, time for the 3 eggs. Maybe I should try and juggle these. Probably a bad idea. That's the best of my juggling right there. The reason I break them into the custard cup here is to look for shells. I'm just looking, making sure there are no shells in there, and I pour it right in. There's 2, and there's 3. Nobody wants a crunchy carrot cake. Now we add 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and I want to note here, this is vegetable oil, not laundry detergent. When I first looked at this, I was thinking to myself, why is there a laundry detergent cap on the vegetable oil? But it's actually just a measuring cup. You use this to measure out 1/4 cup of oil. How cool is that? There we go. That was so easy. I definitely understand why they did it this way. Now we add the carrot and raisin mix. Okay, now we're gonna mix it all up so it's all consistent. It says beat by hand until blended well. So just keep on going until blended well. Okay, it looks pretty well blended to me, and this is the easiest part. You just take what you have here, put it in the cups, and you're set to go. I mean, you cannot get any easier than this. Now we're only filling up this muffin tin about 2/3 of the way up, and the reason we're doing that is so they can rise a little bit. At the same time, once they're risen, we're gonna cut them in half and add the filling in the center. That way we have lots of little carrot cake cookies instead of one large carrot cake cookie. Okay, so we have some extra batter left here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in this larger tin so that we can get an actual sized carrot cake cookie and give that a try. See if they're any different. They shouldn't be any different because it's the same exact recipe, but I just want to have a larger one. There we go. Absolutely perfect. We've got 6 of the little muffin size and 1 actual sized carrot cake cookie. I'm going to throw them in the oven and then start on the homemade, from scratch, carrot cake cookies. Okay, for this size, we're going to try 28 minutes and see if it's enough time. Okay, time to make the homemade carrot cake cookie from scratch. I'm going to take all the ingredients. I found a super good recipe online. It's supposed to be identical to the Hollywood Studios carrot cake cookie. Let's hop right in and see how it is. Okay, first up in our homemade recipe, we're gonna need 4 eggs. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, this one has a shell in it. Now there is a way to get the shells out using the other shells, but I got that guy, so no crunchy carrot cake cookie for me. I remember there was a time when I was really young where I made eggs for my family, and I was like 8 years old, and I tried to make eggs for the whole family, and they came out just a little bit crunchy, and I think that's when I started using this method. Okay, in the recipe it calls for 1 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. To me that just seems like a tremendous amount, but a lot of people said they loved it. A lot of people reviewed it, so I'm gonna trust those reviews and put 1 1/4 cup of vegetable oil with this carrot cake recipe. It is not laundry detergent. I promise this is not laundry detergent. Now we're gonna put in 2 cups of white sugar. Does that look like 1 cup to you? Looks just about right. Okay, 2 cups of sugar. Now Mickey, I'm gonna need you to lend me a hand here as we go for those 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Okay, 1 teaspoon. Ooh, that was close. 1 teaspoon. All right, now time to mix these ingredients together and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. That still seems like a lot of oil to me. Okay, time to set the wet ingredients aside and then start with the dry ingredients in another bowl. I don't like it when the flour container just like rips into pieces, so I always try to do it carefully, but it always ends up like being all like ripped up at the top here. I'm not sure why. Come on, flour, work with me here. I don't know why this keeps happening. Does anyone know how to avoid this one? Let me know, but I always get this huge rip. I don't know why. All right, 2 cups of flour. Next up, we need the baking soda, and it calls for 2 teaspoons, so Mickey, I'm gonna need a hand again. Okay, time for baking powder. Very different than baking soda, but since it's the same amount in the recipe, I guess it doesn't matter if you mix them up, so baking powder time. Of baking powder, there's 1. You gotta be really exact with baking soda and baking powder. Now, a lot of recipes I've seen call for half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of salt. I almost never do that. Usually what I'll do is just sprinkle a little bit in, not too much, and that's about it. Just because I use salted butter, and the salt comes from that anyway, so that's about it. Okay, time for 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Gonna give it that great cinnamon taste. Okay, before we mix up the dry ingredients of the homemade recipe, the boxed recipe is done. I'm gonna take it out of the oven, see how it looks. And here is what they look like completely done. They look fantastic. I'm gonna let them cool for just a minute, and then we're gonna cut them in half and put the filling inside. Now, the cupcake sized carrot cake is completely done. The reason I knew is I stuck a toothpick in it, and when I pulled it out, nothing came out. The larger one isn't done yet, and you'll notice the toothpick here has some things on it. Just has a little bit of batter on it. So I know it needs a few more minutes. Put in there for 3 to 5 more minutes, and try it again with the toothpick. See if anything comes out. That way you know when it's done. Now the dry ingredients are all mixed. Let's add them to the wet ingredients we made earlier. Here we go. Now we're gonna mix it up here until it is well blended. Okay, the large one is done. Take a look at that. It looks perfect. I'm gonna let it cool, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna cut it in half, put the filling inside, and then give it a try. Alrighty, that looks just about perfect. Now we gotta grate those carrots and add them to the mix. Okay, I bought a bunch of carrots from the store. They're perfectly fresh. Now to grate them to try to get 3 cups out of these carrots. I feel like there's more coming on the outside than it's going on the inside. Trying not to grate my hand here. Looks great to me. Get it? Great? Okay. The pieces are flying everywhere. Okay. That's as far down as I think I'll get it. Okay, after 2 carrots, here we are. It looks like we have at least, oh my gosh, we have more than a cup here. Yes, we have more than a cup. This is getting orange everywhere. Almost 2 cups of carrots that we get out of 2 carrots. That's impressive. That's an impressive amount of carrots. It's a ratio of about 1 carrot per cup. Pretty impressive. Okay, time for the 3rd carrot, this time in super time lapse. You ready? Set, go. I wish we had smell-o-vision so you could smell that carrot scent, but just imagine carrot. Okay, now it's time to fold it. So we're not using an electric mixer, we're folding in the carrots. The point of that is to prevent them from being chopped up anymore. They're already grated, so they look good, so just light strokes, and spilling some. And just blending it in nice and evenly, not grating them, not creating like a puree, just putting the grated carrots into the mix. Okay, we don't want to mix too much, so that looks perfect right there, where it's mixed just about evenly in our batter. Now the recipe says we can put pecans into this mix and it adds that extra crunch, which is excellent. But I'm not going to do it in this recipe because they don't use that in Hollywood Studios. I want to make these as close to the authentic carrot cake cookies that we get at Walt Disney World as possible. Now would you just take one moment to take a look at these unbelievably beautiful carrot cake little muffins. We're going to cut them in half in just a second, but first I want to reuse the same tin that we used for this recipe, the box recipe, in the homemade recipe. So I'm buttering up this tin again after I've dried it out and cooled it down. It's all ready to take on the new homemade recipe. Okay, time to put in the homemade recipe into these muffin tins. By the way, did you see that Easter parade at the Magic Kingdom? A few of my friends were showing me some pictures and videos. It looks really cool. There's always some kind of new parade going on at Walt Disney World, and I didn't even know about the Easter one. I really didn't. Not until this year I did not know about the special Easter parade at the Magic Kingdom, so you're always learning something new. Okay, the new carrot cake is cooling down and it looks absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to cut it up and try it. Now we have the same exact pan, and we're gonna use that for the homemade recipe from scratch, so we have an identical set. and we can taste test them. And there we are, another dynamic duo. We have the cupcake tinned and the larger one, and a carrot cake homemade from scratch recipe. Let's put it in the oven. It says about 45 minutes. I'm only gonna give it about 28 and see where it is. And again, use my toothpick test where I stick a toothpick in, see what comes out. If nothing comes out, it's ready to be taken out of the oven. Okay, while the homemade recipe from scratch is cooking away, we're going to cut the box recipe carrot cakes in half and add the Duncan Hines cream cheese frosting to the middle and then give them a taste test. Just like that. How simple is that? Okay, perfect. We've got 6 of these smaller cupcakes cut in half. Let's add that cream cheese frosting. Okay, we've got the creamy home-style cream cheese frosting from Duncan Hines. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. I just want to taste a little bit. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be great. Here we go. I'm gonna be generous here. I'm being generous with my globs here. Extra generous. Just put them right inside. Looks absolutely great. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna set this down. I'm gonna try them all at once. I don't wanna eat any yet. I'm gonna try them all at once and give you my true and honest opinion of the homemade versus the box recipe. And there we are, the perfect carrot cake cookies. They're miniature, but oh my gosh, I wanna try it right now. Just wanna bite one. No, I'm not gonna bite it yet. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna do a taste test against the homemade style. So I'm gonna set this down, and then I'm gonna cut up the big one here, do the same thing, and then we gotta wait a few minutes for the other ones to cook, and then we'll be able to do our taste test. By the way, it seems like this is the perfect amount of frosting. One of these is the perfect amount of the filling for one box of carrot cake cookies. If you can make one box of carrot cake cookies, this is the right amount. This is exactly how much I needed. Oh my gosh, just look at this. Look at this. Are you ready for this? Look at that. Look at that carrot cake cookie. Oh, that looks delicious. Okay, I'm gonna wait for a minute, make the frosting for our homemade recipe, and then I'll be able to do a taste test. Okay, now the homemade recipe is still cooking away. Let's go ahead and make the cream cheese filling for the inside. We're gonna start with half a cup of softened butter, which is actually 1 whole stick of butter. Now the recipe calls for 8 ounces of cream cheese softened, and this happens to be an 8-ounce box of cream cheese, so it's gonna be just perfect. 4 cups. Now that's a lot of confectioner's sugar right at the top, so I'm not gonna blend it up. I'm just gonna use a spoon to mix it around so it doesn't fly in the air and I don't start coughing. So I'm moving it around. Oh, there you go. See how it keeps flying out of there. So you gotta be really gentle. You gotta be really gentle when you're making this cream cheese filling. Now I've mixed it up to a point where I don't think the confectioner's sugar is gonna fly everywhere. So let's give it a try with the electric mixer. Okay, it's kind of working. This is definitely gonna be in the calculations when I'm thinking about the ease of using something like this, Duncan Hines, sauce automatically, instead of having to mix up my own. Okay, so that is the difficult way of making the cream cheese filling for your carrot cake cookies. Okay, here are the final homemade from scratch carrot cake cookies. I'm gonna cut them in half and add our own homemade frosting to the center. Let's do it. Now, right off the bat, I can tell that I think it was a little bit too much oil because these are not quite as firm as the ones that we have here. These from Duncan Hines recipe are much easier to handle. These feel like they're about to fall apart in my hand. Now it's definitely cooked all the way through and looks delicious. Here we go, big old dollop right in the middle there. Okay, there's the first one. Let's cut the other ones up and frost them as well. Now the oil has definitely had an effect on some of these. You can see with this one, it's almost falling apart because I think there's a lot of oil in it. I think that's what's causing it to basically fall apart here. Now unfortunately, the larger carrot cake cookie from the homemade recipe did not come out according to plan. There's some still left in the pan there, and this piece is kind of falling apart. So the larger one didn't exactly work too well. I think the problem came about because there's just too much oil. It's too loose. The pieces aren't really sticking together. That I think is the main problem with the homemade recipe, but I still want to try it and try the flavor of the small ones here compared to the box, the Duncan Hines box, same one. I'm gonna give those a try right now. Okay, the moment you've been waiting for, we have the boxed recipe carrot cake and the frosting from the store brand. Again, 2 Duncan Hines, so we have that contender right here. And then over here we have the homemade carrot cake and homemade frosting. Oh my gosh, it's coming apart. in my hand. Yes, that piece fell apart almost completely in my hand, but that's just to give you an example. Store-bought from the box, here's homemade. Now I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna let you know which one I prefer. I'm gonna think about flavor, I'm gonna think about how long it took and how much effort. Okay, now let's first talk about style points, because maybe you're presenting this to a friend. You're saying, hey, we're thinking about Disney, you're Disney fans too. We wanna show you how much we love Disney and share it with you. I think the style points, I don't think there's much competition there. This homemade one, basically falling apart on the plate. This one, you can hold it, it's really movable. So this store brand in the box, 1 point to the store brand, easy win. Now let's talk about the time and effort it took to make each one. The box version took maybe 30 minutes to put everything together and then 30 minutes in the oven. It was the easiest thing in the world. The store-bought one, grating the carrots and everything, that was a little bit more in-depth and complicated, and the frosting, things were flying everywhere. Confectioner sugar is everywhere. So that, I think, again, goes to the point of the boxed version wins that one as well. So 2 points for the boxed carrot cake, 0 points so far for the homemade. Now let's talk about the price to make each one. For the box recipe, it cost me about $8 total with tax to buy everything, the box, the frosting, everything, and that was it. For the homemade recipe to get the carrots and the oil and the confectioner sugar and the baking soda and the eggs, everything, it costs almost $30 to get all of that. So right away, you got a 3rd point for the boxed version. Okay, now the moment you've been waiting for, let's give it the taste test and see which one has a better flavor and a better overall taste. First, we're gonna go with the homemade version. Just try that taste. I'm not looking at the style points now. I'm just thinking about the taste. Here we go. Oh, it's very good. It's very, very good. Absolutely good carrot flavor, good cinnamon. Frosting is excellent. Now, how does it compare to the Hollywood Studios carrot cake cookie? I would say it's similar, but I would immediately give the win to the carrot cake cookie at Hollywood Studios. It doesn't taste quite sweet enough, and the texture is not really holding together the same way Hollywood Studios carrot cake cookies do. Now to try the box recipe with the store-bought frosting, let's give it a try. I don't have to say much. That's a winner by far. It's sweeter. It holds together better. It has better consistency. Truly magnificent. The raisins seem to add here. I'm not sure if they have raisins in the original carrot cake cookie at Hollywood Studios, but I have to tell you, this is spectacular. Oh my gosh. I can't say enough good things about this. This is superb. Now overall, for style, convenience, price, and taste, the winner, hands down, 4-0, is the store-bought carrot cake. It is superb. It is just so convenient. Why not do the box recipe? Easier, less of a mess by far. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for being a part of this taste test with me. I really hope you enjoyed it. Overall, the winner by far has got to be that store-bought box, but making the homemade recipe was fun as well. I really appreciate you taking time to be a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day and bon appetit.